Hey guys, it's Jo and welcome back to Trauma Talk. I just got done with a 5K. I didn't actually run it. I kind of walked most of it because my ankle's still healing for Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence. It was the angel run today, and so I thought it would be a fitting day to talk about a common tactic that is used in abusive relationships, and that is gaslighting. You've probably heard of this, maybe you haven't. It's something that I think people should be aware of because it is probably the most effective way to manipulate a person and to break down their self-confidence and their self-trust and to make them feel like they aren't worth a lot and like they are crazy and just a lot of really bad things. So I originally recorded this video a few minutes ago and thought I've never actually experienced gaslighting, I don't think. And then I thought about it for a few more minutes and realized, no, I absolutely have. It's really subtle. Sometimes it's hard to pick up on. Sometimes you don't realize it. And sometimes people are really good at it. It's like I said, it's a subtle and easy way to manipulate people. So this is what it looks like. And please add what you think because gaslighting looks like a lot of different things, but it usually starts really slow. Like I said, it's about breaking down someone's self-confidence and self-trust and making them feel like they're unstable and not remembering things correctly, so on and so forth. So let's say maybe it starts with something as simple as they told you that they were free on Saturday. So you call up and you're like, hey, I planned this thing on Saturday, I'll see you there. And they're like, no, I told you I was working on Saturday. Let's do something on Sunday instead. And you're like, oh, okay, I must have heard that conversation wrong. No big deal. Okay, moving on. In an isolated instance, obviously that's not a big deal. That happens. People forget things. Maybe you did misremember the date. But let's say stuff like that keeps happening. And maybe it gets a little more significant. Like maybe they told you that their favorite kind of food is Chinese food. And so for an anniversary or for a special occasion or the birthday, you make them Chinese food and you're excited about it and they come over and you're like, hey, I did this for you. And they're like, oh, that's really sweet, but I actually hate Chinese food. And you're like, you told me it was your favorite kind of food. And they're like, no, I don't know who you were talking to. Are you talking to anyone else? Because I hate Chinese food. And so you start to kind of question yourself because you're like, well, I thought this was their favorite kind of food and they told me it was, but maybe I did have that conversation with someone else or maybe I misremembered that conversation. Sorry. So then you move on and it could get more and more intense. Now maybe something happens like maybe you asked them at one point, yesterday to bring you your debit card or something like that. And then the next day they're like, hey, do you remember when you said I could borrow your debit card? I went ahead and ordered a pair of new shoes on that. Thank you for that. I'll pay you back next week. And you're like, I didn't say they could borrow it. I said that if they could bring it to me, but maybe they misunderstood or maybe I did say that. I don't know. Or in arguments. In arguments, people are emotional. We often say things that, maybe we don't remember every detail of, and that's easy to prey on and easy to manipulate. Maybe you said something like, I really hate it when you fill in the blank. And a week later, they're manipulating that situation and manipulating that memory where they're saying, yeah, and last week you told me you hated me. And you're like, no, I never said that. Did I say that? Maybe I did say that. And they're telling you that, you're a horrible person. You told me you hated me. How could you do that? And so you're feeling terrible and you're feeling, all broken up inside because how could you say that to them? But you didn't say that to them. But maybe you did say that to them because that is what they are very confidently telling you that you told them. And so it kind of just like gets worse and worse from there. And it can be used to control people and manipulate people. And once you have broken down someone's trust in themselves and their self-confidence, man, it is easy to, people become putty in an abuser's hands, and that is a horrible place to be. It is not your fault if you were in that position or if you are in that position. If you are in that position, it is so important to get help and get out of it because it's not going to stop. If someone is gaslighting you, they're not gonna magically figure out, hey, it's not a great idea to totally mess with someone's head, to change memories, to tell them that they are remembering things incorrectly all the time and make them doubt their self-confidence. The term gaslighting came from a movie, I think it was a black and white movie a long time ago, where someone would use these kind of tactics, and I believe literally like move objects around a room when someone wasn't watching. And so this lady felt like she was losing her mind because she would like turn around and turn back and something would be in a completely different place, and she'd be like, what is happening? I'm losing my mind. And her husband would be like, no, nothing has changed. What are you talking about? And so it's that feeling, like that's the feeling right there, where you turn around and something has changed, and the person is telling you that you're wrong, but you feel like you're right, but they're telling you that you're wrong and you trust them. And so your self-confidence is just, you know, blown to hell. I remember after I was assaulted, after I was sexually assaulted, after I was getting out of this extremely emotionally, physically, sexually, spiritually, everything, 11-month-long abusive relationship, I did talk to this person after I left the relationship, like the day after. And I told him that I can't be with you because you raped me. Because it finally clicked in my head that that is what was happening. And his immediate reaction, I remember this very clearly, at that point, was, did you think we were gonna be together forever? Like, did you think we were gonna get married? And he was kind of like sad and, you know, defeated in tone. And I was like, I mean, I loved you, and I thought it was possible because I was like this, you know, sweet little Christian girl who thought if you were dating someone, you were basically gonna marry them. He was like, that's why you're taking this so hard. That's why you think that, that's why you think I raped you, because you think that we're gonna get married, and you know, you're just remembering the situation wrong, and blah blah. And it was like, it was such a stretch. It was such a stretch at like trying to change my memory of a situation. And when that didn't work, because that was just so bizarre and far out there, the next thing he tried was he told me that I was just so hard to get to know. He was just trying to break down my walls and get to know me better, which is a real sick thing to say in that situation. But that's another example of trying to gaslight someone and shift a situation to make someone misremember, or that's not even misremembering so much as it is putting a different spin on a situation. And when you're talking about things like sexual assault and trying to get someone to reinterpret that to be a consensual encounter instead of what it was, which was sexual assault, and he's trying to use gaslighting to get me to remember something a little bit differently and be like, no, that you really were okay with that, but I was just trying to get to know you better, and blah, 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 like just kind of like bullshit like that. Like, that's an example of gaslighting too. So if any of this sounds familiar, maybe you experienced gaslighting. And if any of it sounds familiar with the person you're with right now, like I said, it is really important that you get help and get out of that relationship, because someone is not going to stop. If someone is expressing and showing controlling and manipulative tendencies, the pattern is that those escalate and get worse. So find help, get a safety plan, and get out of that relationship. I realize that is oversimplifying the situation, but talk to people, reach out, get help. I am here if you have any questions, and I appreciate you guys listening. I am Jo Beckwith, and this is Trauma Talk. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I appreciate you tuning in. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.